As part of the Wow Embossing Powder July release, I'm going to show you how to create a one-layer card that is monochromatic in color and three-dimensional. Hi, it's Colleen and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button so you never miss another video. So these are the colors that we're going to use today for our monochromatic colors. They will be shades of teal, and Catherine Pooler inks are the inks that I'm using. They are the best. We're using Starry Night stencil, Snowy Christmas stamp, and Winter Wishes stamp. These stamps and stencils are all part of the new release, and the powders we're using are called Winter Dreams Trio. And they just came out this month. And they are available in the UK store, and they will be available very soon in the US store. So I'm starting out by doing some light ink blending with the lightest color of teal called Mint to Be. And I will put everything in my description box so you can find everything if you like what you see. These colors to me are just so beautiful. And the key for me to successful ink blending is to go in with a light hand and slowly build color like you see me doing here. It takes a little bit longer to do it, but I think it's well worth the effort because you don't end up with a big ink blob like I've had before when I try to rush it. So while I'm ink blending here, I want to talk about my inspiration for this monochromatic color. This is my inspiration from Sarah Renee Clark. She sells an entire volume of color mood boards. I think there's about 400 in there, and you can find any color combination you want in her volume. And I will add her link in there if you're interested. But I find a lot of inspiration by going to her mood board, and that's how I found the inspiration to use all teal colors here. So I finally got my first layer done, and now I'm going to go in with the Starry Night stencil set, which is so pretty for the holidays. And I add a little purple tape to the back. Some people use that pixie dust spray. I just don't like the pixie dust spray, so I just use purple tape to keep my stencil in place, really. And then I'm going in with the second color called Aquatin. And while I was ink blending, I got an idea here, a brainstorm idea, and I decided that I would make the outer edges of the stars darker than the inner edges, and that would create kind of a 3D look. And you'll see what I mean as we go further on. The lighter color stars look further away than the darker color stars. So I thought that's kind of a cool idea. So I'm just checking here while I'm ink blending to see if this is dark enough. And then I think I decided to go in and add a little bit more depth to the outer edges of the stars so that those stars look a little bit darker than the inner ones. And I'm really, really happy with how this is looking so far. So now it's time to go in and do the next step. So I'm basically doing a bit of a mixed media background here by adding all kinds of stuff. But before I go on and add more to my background, I wanted to add my sentiment, which says Winter Wishes and Snowflake Kisses. And I went in with the darkest color called Bay Breeze. And then I decided to go in with my Wow embossing pad and emboss it with the clear embossing powder because I wanted that sentiment to be nice and shiny. And boy, I'm doing some major CPR there, aren't I? I got a little carried away, I guess. So what I'm using here is Wow Clear Gloss. It's a super fine clear embossing powder. So what'll happen is it will put a nice shine on your embossed image, but it won't cover up the color. And you're going to see that here as I'm heat embossing with my Wow dual speed heat tool. You can see that color coming back even brighter than it was before, only this time you got a nice pretty glossy shine. So then I decided that I wanted to add more to my background, so I went in with Snowy Christmas stamps, which was designed by my dear friend Natasha Davies. And there's just some lovely, lovely snowflakes in this sentiment. And I decided I wanted to add some snowflakes and emboss them. So I'm going to slowly build on the snowflakes and add them here and there over the stars. And I'm going to emboss them with one of the powders from the trio that's called Winter Dreams. and I couldn't decide what color to use, as you can see here. So I finally decided to go with a color called Icicle Teal, because again, I wanted to keep everything monochromatic in the same color family, so I thought let's just stay with the teal color family. And you'll see here that I just keep building and building as I go along and add more of them. And what is nice is that these snowflakes they're pretty clear to see through, and the snowflakes along with the translucent embossing powder, they give it a really subtle shine, but they don't cover up the background, which is the stars. So I was really happy with how that looked. And I think the end result is going to be really pretty. And then I also tried to kind of frame that sentiment there. I didn't want to go over the sentiment. I just wanted to go around it and frame it, but try to make them look as natural as possible. And I think I pulled it off pretty decently. So here you have it. Now you can see I've got all kinds of stuff going on here with stars and snowflakes and ink and that gorgeous sentiment. But then I decided I wanted to go back in around the very, very edges of the ink with the darkest shade of teal called Bay Breeze and highlight the edges, because I felt that that would add even more 3D depth to it and would make some of these stars look even further away. And I was kind of happy with how that turned out. Plus I felt like it would create like a halo effect around the middle of the card there where the sentiment is, and there's just something about doing that creates a halo effect. And you see here I could not waste the extra ink, so I just made another background for another day. But then I went back in and just did a little bit more ink blending, but I was really careful to keep the center at the lightest color so it will look like it's highlighted and that you have a little bit of a halo effect. And then I'm just wiping off the excess ink because I want those icicles or the snowflakes to really shine. So I wiped off the excess ink that was sitting on top of the snowflakes. The embossing powder will resist ink. So if you do an emboss, it's almost like an emboss resist, but that's a story for another day. And here's my card, guys, completely finished. It's a 3D card, one layer, and it is monochromatic as can be. I'm so glad you stopped by today. The new Wow July release is live now at the UK store, and I will note that in the description box below. And I hope you enjoy shopping, and I hope you find some inspiration to create your holiday cards in the month of July. Get a head start.